Greetings, Richard Fulmer here, and welcome to another edition of Richard's Rock Rambles. Today we're going to have a look at a band that I was introduced to in the early 2000s, I think it was. The band is called the Drive-By Truckers, introduced to me by a late friend of mine, Mr. Paul Knott in the UK. He sent me a couple of CDs and I was blown away. Their style is country rock, southern rock. They have R&B influences, they have soul influences. In fact, their first couple of albums had almost a punkish feel to them, very raw garage band kind of sound. And I've really grown to love this band over the years. They're also a very lucky band in that they were blessed with a number of very strong songwriters. In fact, at one time they had no less than 3 guys doing all the songwriting. And that helps, to form a really cohesive unit and everybody giving their own input and their own sound to the band. All the guys that have come and gone in that band have been exceptionally talented. So these guys formed, I think it was around 1996. They're from Athens in Georgia. The 2 main guys are Patterson Hood, guitar and vocals, and Mike Cooley on guitar and vocals. I think he also plays banjo. So let me give you the current lineup of the band. You've got Patterson Hood, guitar vocals, Mike Cooley, guitar and vocals, Brad Morgan on drums. He's been there, I think, bar the first 2 albums, he's been their drummer right throughout. Jay Gonzalez on keyboards and accordion, and Matt Patton on bass and backing vocals. This band also has a great backing vocals side to them, which also fills out the sound, which is great. Some of their notable past members that have been in the band, John Neff, guitar, pedal steel, and he was there from 96 to about 2012. And then Jason Isbell, a name that might be familiar to some of you guys out there. He's gone on to have a really successful solo career. Great singer, great guitarist, fiery on the Les Paul. So he was there, guitar, keyboards and vocals from about 2001 to 2007. Then there was Shona Tucker. She was on bass, vocals, guitar and keyboards. She's also since left the band and gone on to have her own band, the Shona Tucker Band, and I think she's also doing pretty well. Her and Jason Isbell joined in the band, and then they eventually get up married together. Didn't last, unfortunately, because of working together and being married together. That didn't kind of work out, so they went their separate ways, and I think they left the band pretty much the same time. They've made about 12 studio albums, 4 live albums, and there's a couple of DVDs as well. So they've been quite prolific in their output. The album cover art, which is something which sets them apart from other bands, is done by a guy by the name of Wes Freed, who the band hooked up with, and I think he's done, bar the first 2 and the last 2 albums, he has done all the artwork. It's incredible. When I go through the albums just now, you'll be able to see what I mean. It's just, he's got a certain style, and what he does apparently is he listens to what the band have been recording, and then he works his album art around the music. So it becomes like this story, the music and the art together, and it really works. He's got the feel and the sound of the band down pat in his artwork. It's very different, but I'll show you just now. Their most recent album is called The Unraveling, and that was earlier this year. I don't have that one, and I don't have the one before. I think I have pretty much all the other studio albums. I have some of the live stuff, and I have a couple of DVDs. So let's check this out, what I have. Like I said, the early stuff was quite raw, punk country southern rock, I suppose you could call it. It's very hard. They're very hard to pigeonhole. You know, they have their own sound. So the first album was called Gangster Billy, which is that one there. Slightly dodgy cover. Some of the good tracks off here, The Living Bubba, which is something I think they still play to this day. Buttholeville, which is them talking about where they are and how they need to get out. And 18 Wheels of Love, which is also a great song off this album. These guys really, they told stories in their songs. It wasn't just, you know, the basic she loves me, I love her kind of thing. These are quite epic. And like I said, having strong songwriters, it's half the battle won. So that was their first album. Second one was called Pizza Deliverance. Also quite a good hard rocking album. And then they made an album called The Southern Rock Opera. And this was a concept, not a concept album, but it was sort of a tribute album to Lynyrd Skynyrd, a band that obviously influenced them quite a bit in their own music. And it was called The Southern Rock Opera. That's the cover there. This is the album that really got them noticed. They started playing to much bigger venues after this album. It really took off. And there were a bunch of tracks off here that did pretty well. Zip City, Ronnie and Neil, song about Ronnie Van Zant and Neil Young. Birmingham, The Southern Thing. This was a double album, so there was an Act 1 and an Act 2. Woman Without Whiskey, Angels and Fuselage. So it's basically all about Lynyrd Skynyrd and the Crash, and you know, the Ronnie and Neil Young, and they had that whole argument to that song Southern Man and what have you. So yeah, this is the one that really broke for them. I would say if you want to get a good start with the drive-by truckers, this is probably the one to go for. So that's that one. Another great album, Decoration Day. Now this was the first one. No, I lied. This was the first one. The Southern Rock Opera was the first one to feature the artist Wes Freed. So that's his work there. Then there was an album called Decoration Day. See, stunning artwork. That's a picture of the band there. This was before Shona Tucker joined on bass. She hadn't yet joined the band. So that was that one. The Dirty South, which is also a great album. That's another one that did really well for them. Standout tracks on here, Putting People on the Moon, Danko Manuel, Never Gonna Change. It's really a very good album, that one. A Blessing and a Curse. That's another one with great artwork. There you can see Shona Tucker. She joined the band. Very good guitarist as well. Brighter Than Creation, Dark. And Creation's Dark. Also quite a long album. I think there's at least 15 tracks on here. Really great. Then there were two. The first one was called The Big To Do. That one there. Also great artwork. And the one that followed called Go-Go Boots. That one there. Let me see if I can show you there we go. That's the inside cover. I just love this guy's artwork. So these were sort of companion albums. The one followed the other in a similar vein. The style, the guitar work, the musicianship, very similar. Great storytelling as well. And now the one after that was called English Oceans, which is that one there. And then I have one called The Fine Print, which is a collection of oddities and rarities, which is always nice to have, you know, B-sides and what have you, and stuff that wasn't released on the original albums. And that's got about 12 tracks. So that's pretty much it for the studio albums. And then they have done quite a bit of live stuff as well. There's that Live from Austin, Texas series in America, which a number of artists have been on. Stevie Ray Vaughan was one. If I just think about Stevie Ray Vaughan, and I think Eric Johnson, he was also at the live from Austin, Texas. And the Drive-By Truckers did theirs as well. Now, what's nice about this is it's a CD and a DVD collection. And the DVD on here is amazing. I mean, they're a really great concert, and they do a lot of their hits on here. Putting People on the Moon, Zip City, Heathens, The Living Bubba, 18 Wheels of Love, Let There Be Rock. So, yeah, this is a great concert. Really enjoyed watching that. Then there's one, the Drive-By Truckers live at the 40 Watt. Now, the 40 Watt Club was where they used to gig quite a bit, and they were very popular there. That's that one there. It's a bit raw, this DVD. The picture quality is not that great, but you get the feel of how great these guys were live. Really energetic. You can almost see the sweat pouring off the walls. It's that kind of concert, pretty much in your face. And once these guys get going, they can rock out with the best of them. So there's that one. And then the final one I want to show you is a documentary called The Secret to a Happy Ending, which is that one there. If you can get hold of this, I highly recommend it. It goes up to the point where Jason Isbell and Shona Tucker leave the band. So it's all about the early days, how they got together, the bands they were in before Drive-By Truckers became a band, how they hooked up, how Patterson Hood and Mike Cooley were pretty much together since school days, the hardships they went through. Patterson Hood's dad actually he worked in a studio in Muscle Shoals, which is a famous studio, worked with a lot of different guys. So it's a really interesting DVD, gives you their whole history. So there we have it, the Drive-By Truckers. If you haven't heard of them before, I'd suggest you go and check them out. Great southern rock, as I said, with a bit of country thrown in, a bit of soul, a bit of R&B, great musicianship, regardless of who was in the band. And yeah, they're still going. The album came out earlier this year, as I said. They do a lot of touring, and yeah, a band worth checking out. Yeah, I think pretty much everything's available on CD. A lot of their stuff's on vinyl as well, and there are quite a few DVDs. So there we go. Do yourself a favor and check this band out. Even if you don't like country music, there's a lot of that, but there's a lot of other stuff as well. They make a nice mixture of southern rock, etc., etc. So yeah, that's me for today. Next episode is going to be on ZZ Top, those old boys from Texas. And then I think that'll be it for the southern rock journey. And we'll see what happens after that. Comments down below, like and subscribe. Take care. Cheers.